Good evening and welcome to the FB4 Daily for today, which is Tuesday. This Manchester United game is taking forever to get here, so we're just going to keep going and keep plodding on and doing our best until we get to Sunday at 4:30. Tonight, this show as always is brought to you by Paddy. Paddy is a bookies, an app, a website. If you gamble, please try gamble responsibly, and if you're doing so and you're gambling responsibly, try do it with Paddy Power. Odds on football, odds on Liverpool, LFC Day Trippers, specials on Liverpool, all other sports, everything else beyond that, you know the drill by now. Tonight I am joined by Karl Coppack, who was with us last week and got a great response as to being onto the show, so I asked him on again tonight, and we're going to do things slightly differently. A lot of previews of United will show up on your podcasts, you know, streams and different things, and in your downloader files, but we're going to do a little bit different, Karl, aren't we? We're going to talk about the fixture that is Manchester United against Liverpool and the history of it, I suppose.
We're going general,
and Karl, the other night or last week when you were on, it went a bit random at the end. We welcomed that, and we welcome that again if that manages to happen at around 25 past 10, when we're sick talking about the heartbreak we've suffered at the hands of Manchester United at times, and people ask stuff like your favourite flavour of hula hoop or whatever way it goes. Loads of people have jumped straight in. Chris Brack says evening. Gav North Red says hello. Centurion says I loved your man Dave in the club. Oh, Dave, Dave's LFC chats. What a man. Stephen Mack says good evening. Calls me Gov, but look, I'll let him away with it. Mark Gallagher says good evening. Al Suarez says De Gea off injured for Spain. You are fucking joking me.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh, okay.
Never buying it.
Either am I. I think Pogba's fitting ready to go as well. Michael Edwards asks, is Karl fat? No, he's not. I got him to send me his credentials. He's 6'3", 11 stone, blonde, tall, all that sort of stuff. He's amazing, Karl is.
Eyes like a shock of gold.
Oh, lovely, really. I might call the show that. Eyes like a shock of gold. Let me see. Another person then saying De Gea injured. Can anybody tell me the extent of the injury? Because Karl is simply not buying it. Karl, here we go. Liverpool versus Manchester United is on Sunday. I will get your thoughts on the game, the Sunday's game before the end of this podcast. But just looking at it, and we were discussing it before we came on here, the biggest club game in world football, I think so. I think you do too, do you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, one of the reasons is if you look at the other games, it's things like, obviously the big contender is Barcelona, Real Madrid, but you don't get the away fans at those games. You don't get the cauldron atmosphere. You just basically get a group of home fans watching a big game, which is why it always means more when, one wins at the other one's ground, because there's no one there to cheer it on. But Liverpool, Man United, it's political, it's historic, it's transcended every age of football, including the modern age. We've only played each other in Europe once. Liverpool got through, obviously. Mm-hmm. It's everything. It's everything sort of just boiled into a 32-mile derby. And the big thing about the United game for me is that no one ever wants to admit it, but we're incredibly similar in our sort of set of fans and ideals. We've got the whole, not England thing going on. We're not interested in England, and neither are they. We're very, very similar. We're very northern. We've always had the river, the port. They've always had the cotton. Going back to even Victorian times. Even like music, new wave and things like that. Liverpool and Manchester pretty much rule the waves there as well. So when we come to fight each other, red against red, then it's just the biggest one, because it's just got so much riding on it. It's not just things like, the Palace and Brighton. That's a weird derby for me. I know why that is a rivalry.
Yeah, that is a strange one.
It's not based on this. This is based on history and on politics.
It's an unbelievable game, and I think there's so many things that show that it's an unbelievable game. It's such a huge game. I seen a little clip earlier. I think it might have been on the LFC official Twitter page. It's like a documentary they're doing between Manchester and Liverpool, and again, like you said, the similarities come up. Music comes up, politics comes up, fashion comes up, history, all them things come up. But what the biggest thing that makes it the biggest game for me, and I know it sounds stupid, Karl, but it's the one, no matter how brilliant you may be and how bad they may be, or vice versa, you're still always, always, always nervous and unsure going into it.
Yeah, they could be playing with 6 lads under the age of 10, and I'd still be worried about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Something's going to happen. Something mad is going to happen, and little Tommy's going to net an equaliser in the 97th minute. You worry about things like that. Anything can happen in this game. It doesn't even matter about how both teams are doing. That's irrelevant. And the year that United went down, we beat them at Anfield. I looked it up the other day. We beat them at Anfield, but we still drew at Old Trafford. That's nuts to me. The worst Man United side in 20, 30, 40 years, and we still didn't beat them at Old Trafford. And we finished second. We won the FA Cup. We still didn't beat them. So, it doesn't matter what people say, they're 12th in the league. They've only got 9 points. And what have you? I've done a piece on the Amphicare Up about this, and I went through it. It doesn't mean a thing, because they'll be all Man United about it tomorrow on Sunday, and they're going to come out all guns blazing because they don't give a damn who we are. They just have to win it. They have to win it. Yeah, it's as simple as that. So do we.
They don't care who we are, and they don't care what position we're in. I don't think they do. I think it's literally, like a lot was made last season about, we got to draw. The draw Liverpool got United, stopped them winning the league. Everton claimed the same. West Ham could claim the same. Chelsea could claim the same. Arsenal could claim the same. All these teams that drew with us could claim this. But like you say, it doesn't matter where teams are, or it's that one that has to be won. It's the one you look at. And I know it's an old cliche, it's the first one you look at when the fixtures come out. Stephen Kingsbury says De Gea was clearing the ball upfield, pulled up once, and then went to take another one and pulled up again. Really interesting. If anyone can keep us updated on that, really, really interested. Stephen Mack said he's Liverpool through and through, but he still feels Barca and Real is the biggest. I don't know. I just think that the reach of this game is just phenomenal. All over the world, everywhere this goes. I think it's probably the biggest watch game in the world. I could be wrong. Someone will throw a figure at me at some stage.
Well, also, Real Madrid is always too pretty, I think. I know it's got the comedy shithousery at the end and everything, with people kicking lumps out of each other and getting red cards and stuff like that. But Liverpool Man United, it's just like a war of attrition. It's basically whoever's standing up at the end gets the points. Yeah, it's very rare that it's a nice game, because no one really wants a nice game. I'd like a nice easy win, so I can get some sleep. But I just don't think. I think it's a bit different, to be honest. It's more visceral.
It really is, and there's a little bit more riding on it. With us being 8 from 8, them being in a bad way. Like Ironham 1 says, will LFC get another Man United manager sacked? I think they might if Liverpool go and take 3 points on Sunday. North Red feels that Liverpool will be fine at the weekend as long as the referee doesn't become a talking point. But look, just going back through the fixture itself, Karl, what's your earliest memory of watching Liverpool versus Manchester United?
Not a good one.
Okay, go on.
They never are. The 1977 FA Cup final.
Okay,
I'm still angry, Gav. I'm still angry now.
Okay, talk to us. We'll help you through it.
42 years ago, that was.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, it wasn't good. Obviously, we just won the league, and we had the European Cup final to look forward to. And they had a decent side. I was quite like Steve Coppell as a kid, because he was from Liverpool, and we almost have the same surname, so I quite liked him for that. And I just thought there's no way that they can beat Liverpool while Liverpool are in that kit. And we just looked absolutely incredible. We scored a brilliant goal with Jimmy Case, but they'd already scored one beforehand, and they scored the winner with with a completely jammy deflection. So much so that I didn't even know it was a green off goal until 2 years later. I was convinced it was Stuart Pearson or Lee McCarry. Can't remember.
You were that upset? It took you 2 years.
Yeah, it took me 2 years. I wouldn't have it at all. I absolutely and at that age, Liverpool never lost, as far as I was concerned. And to be honest, the Everton game was bigger at the time, because I was, 7, something like that, 7 or 8. And that was the first time that Man United hurt me. And they sort of carried on doing it throughout the 80s. Even when, we were winning the league all over the place. We only beat them once at Old Trafford in the 80s in the league.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what they did. They always hurt you, always.
Well, you see, there's a perfect point coming up to Sunday. I'm making no bones about it. I'm confident about Sunday. I've said it on 2 shows. I've gone for 3-1 to Liverpool. I just feel that if we show up, we show the right attitude, and we we put them in that place early on with regards to possession and shutting the crowd up. Anybody watching there, if they want to throw in your earliest memory of Liverpool versus Manchester United, absolutely throw them in. I'll try read a few out. But you mentioned you done a thing for the Anfield Wrap. There's a Manchester United fan that's been on there all the time, and his name has completely gone out of my head. He's a really, really brilliant fella to listen to.
Steve Armstrong.
Steve Armstrong. Absolutely brilliant person to listen to. He's so honest about United. He's straight down the line. When they're bad, when they're not, they're not. And he always goes on, I think it's the 85... Is it the 85 FA Cup semi-final that goes to replay at Goodison?
Yeah.
And he mentions how mental that was. Absolutely insane. Inside and outside the ground. And he said that for him, he felt like that was the last time it was a war. You know, that kind of way. And it kind of changed a little bit after that. And, I suppose the dawn of the Premier League probably changed it a little bit. All-Seater Stadiums probably changed it a little bit. But he always mentions that. And whenever I think of a United fan discussing Liverpool United, I always think of Steve Armstrong talking about the 85 replay. But he said it was just from then on in, it kind of diluted itself a little bit, and the Premier League came in, and like I've said before,
it had to back down a bit. It had to back down because obviously they won it in 85. We won the double in 86, and then we started to stretch out a bit ahead of them. And I've just done a podcast actually where I said 88. You think, right, we're finally going to beat United. We didn't. We drew at Old Trafford with them as usual. And we drew at Anfield as well, despite leading 3-1. And then the Premier League came in. But it had to move away from 85. 85 was a war zone. The hatred was too much at that point. The only thing me and Steve disagree on is, he was at both games. I don't know. But I'd say the home leg was more dangerous than the Old Trafford game. He says the opposite. But I just remember the atmosphere of the entire week, and it was just brutal. It really was, because that was, again, the word visceral. There's no other word to describe it. That was just full on. I mean, non-stop, full on hatred.
Yeah, and it has got to be, it has got to be. Not light-hearted. That's not the word to use at all. It's just mellowed out a little bit, just a little bit.
It's more of a cartoon hatred, I'd say now.
It's a point-scoring exercise at times.
Fans. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Ray Dickinson says he went to Old Trafford for
not for me.
Not for you, no.
No, I hate them.
Ray Dickinson said he went to Old Trafford for the Rob Jones debut, 0-0. He knew he'd never go back to that kip. Chris Brack said, I sadly grew up in the 90s and we always got beat by Man United. That's why 2001 treble season meant so much. We finally won at Old Trafford and got those trophies. Centurion says he couldn't recall his earliest memory, just that I hated them irrationally. I hated their players' faces, their colours, success, everything. Do you know what I hated about them? And this is talk about irrational. Do you remember like the periods? Like I was born in 82. I can remember the 86 Cup final. I always remember and I should go back and look at the year, but I'm nearly convinced Liverpool go away to United in around Christmas, and it could be late 80s. And I think they get beaten 3-1 at Old Trafford. I could be completely wrong here. This is just a memory stored in the back of my head for all of my life nearly. And I always remember my father's family were all United fans, and they were all, delighted with themselves. And I was sitting there going, Liverpool were the better team, and I could not get my head around this. So I have a lot of bad stuff that's happened with United. To be perfectly honest with you, let me see. Jer Carl says the Peter Beardsley hat-trick.
Yay, Fergie must stay.
Yeah.
That's what we were singing on the Cop.
Yeah, and look,
Fergie must stay.
And
the bastard did.
And he did, yeah. Nordred says there he still detests them, hates them, loathes them. But the thing that was for me, the period 94, 95, 96, in around then, when they had Keane, Butt, Beckham, Scholes, and you know what really annoyed me? All their nicknames, was Scholesy, Butsy, Yorkie, Coley, and I just really irrationally, and it really upset me because all the nicknames just ended in a Y, and that's a ridiculous thing to say, but it's just like, look at these boring bastards, and they're winning everything. It was just one of those. But look, I've asked you your earliest memory. Staying on earliest memories, what's the earliest highlight watching Liverpool versus United?
The thing is, I've got to go to like 1983 or something like that. I know in 79 we won 3-0 78, 79. Can I name drop a second? I do this far too often. I know Trevor always slags me off about this. I was sat in Ray Kennedy's living room in 2008 and with a few mates because we were going up to see Liverpool Middlesbrough.
Did you just ring Ray and say, can I come over?
Well, I know him because I did a charity thing for him a while ago, and 10 years ago. So we played Middlesbrough, and it was the game we lost, actually one of the two games we lost in 2009. So we go in to see him first, and we're sat on his couch. And Ray's health isn't so great, and his voice isn't good, and he's not always the easiest man to understand. And I said, for us to win this league, we're going to have to go to Old Trafford and win, which of course we did 4-1. And I said, did you enjoy playing against Man United? And he said, yeah, I did. Always tough games. And I said, did you ever beat them? And I was like, I'm going through my own encyclopedia thinking, would Ray have beaten Man United? And he went, oh yeah. Oh yeah, and he just went quiet and just stared off into the middle distance. You know, like Richard Gere in every film he does.
Yeah,
just like as they say on the trip, just sort of looked in the middle distance, has a little smile to himself. And I looked it up afterwards, and we beat him 3-0 in 78, 79, and he got the first goal. And it was nice because he'd just gone away into that little space. So I don't remember much about that. So I'd say the 83 League Cup final, where we won, was it 2-0? The Ronnie Whelan goal. I think it was 83, I can't remember now. But yeah, that was the first sort of, we can beat them.
I'm thinking Ronnie Whelan in the League Cup against Spurs. I have him in my head for some reason. Adam
Hang on, did we win that one? There's a game we beat them. Oh yeah, when Alan Kennedy scored the long range shot. That game, yeah, they were impregnable then.
Adam Petruccione says,
hello, Adam.
Oh, you obviously know Adam because he says,
I know Adam, yeah.
Here comes the name drops.
Hey! I'm sorry, you're talking about Ray Kennedy's story.
Listen. If you have a story about Ray Kennedy and you're sitting with Ray Kennedy, you've every right to drop his name. But for me, it's like you were saying there. Even my earliest memories would be mid to late 80s, and even thinking back, I'm thinking, when did we beat this? When did we do this? And I thought until I said, no, I'm going to have to nail this down. And one of my earliest memories of like openly celebrating it and remembering every single minute about it was 91, 92. And I think, now I could be wrong, I think Leeds beat Sheffield United. And it meant that United had to come and win at Anfield in order to keep the league title alive, if I'm right.
And Ian Rush had never scored against them.
Yeah, and Ian Rush scores, and I think Ray Houghton scores near the end.
Yeah, it's I think it's actually Mark Walters, but
Ray Houghton hits the bar. Maybe Houghton hits the bar, yeah. And I remember that one, and I remember just being absolutely over the moon that one, we'd beaten them, and two, it was one of those things, and I thought it'd go on forever then, they're never going to win this league. They should have won it. They should have won that league that season, and Leeds just kept going and going and going. And that was the first one where, it really felt like that's a really big win. And it's the one that sticks in my mind. I can remember that blue United jersey that they had on. I can remember everything about it. In my head, Ray Houghton scores, because I think, like you said, he does all the work. I think he hits the bar.
But there's something about this. The fans United to write for, they did a thing about this once, and the lad who wrote it, Steve, said he was really low down in the cop, and he said when Houghton hits the bar and it goes in and Walters puts it in, Ray Houghton screams so loud and so high that you could hear it halfway up the cop. You could hear his voice literally just squealing in joy that we'd beaten United and cost them the league.
Yeah.
And I've had many fallouts with Ray Houghton's views on many things, but I'll always love him for that moment. That just meant the world to him.
Yeah, it absolutely meant everything to him. It goes into the Premier League years then, and that this is when United kick into gear. But there's a couple of classics between United and Liverpool. The 2-all Old Trafford Cantona's return is a big one.
Penalty.
Yeah.
I hated all that. Oh, look, he's come back and scored. He's got a penalty.
But you know what the funny thing about that one was? They moved that game.
Yeah, deliberately.
They moved that game so that his ban would be up.
Yeah.
I think his ban might have finished on the Saturday and they moved it to the Sunday.
They moved it, yeah.
You know what I mean?
For that.
So it's one of those. That one there, you have the 3-all at Anfield where we're 3-0 down. Clough gets 2 and Ruddock equalises, if I remember rightly. Yeah. But there's great ones like that. Is there one at Anfield that in the Premier League that where they beat us and you thought, oh, absolutely and utterly gutted?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, when they beat us 3-1 and we were so poor the David James era, I just don't see us coming back from this.
Beckham bends one in from a free kick at the Anfield Road.
We were just so bad, yeah. And every time the ball went into the box and the keeper's all over the place, just think that I think the Palace to score in one of those games. I just think that if he's scoring,
would I be right in saying Palace gets 2 in that?
You might do, yeah.
And I think Hippier might. Would I be right in thinking Hippier gets one back?
Yeah, I think he did score one, yeah. And to be honest, Gav, I've repressed a lot of
this. Yeah, I think Beckham calls in a free kick. I remember that one.
He does, yeah.
No, sorry, it's a different game, I think, because there is a cross that goes over the back of James and he tries to reach it and it's nodded in. But I might be mixing games up, but I can't remember Palace.
Yeah, I think I'm the same, because there's 2 or 3 games which seem to be pretty much the same
merged
game.
into one. They literally just the same thing happened all the time.
There's the Carragher 2 own goals game as well.
I remember that one as well. But
Murphy got sent off.
Yeah, there was a couple. The one that annoyed me at Anfield, and I've seen, didn't they rob a win with Rooney one year as well?
1-0.
Yeah, I think they robbed the win. But the one that got me was O'Shea. Yeah, O'Shea got a winner at the Cop end right at the death. That one hurt. That one really did. But
yeah,
we'll move past them. Anfield wins versus them, or away wins, whatever you want in the Premier League. The 4-1 stands out, I know. But is there any...
The 4-1's fantastic for one reason in particular, is because it's the second that the ball goes in from Aurelio's goal, and there's a second where the ground does nothing.
Yeah,
and you can hear the ball going.
Yeah,
as it rolls into that, and seeing Van der Sar just standing there. I remember just thinking, with 3-1 up at Old Trafford.
It's like it's 60,000 people, or how many were there that day. They're all they've seen this happen in front of them. Yeah. But they're processing it. Everyone processes that thought at the same time, and it's like
that's gone in. That's 3-1.
Yeah, and then the game's over. They're down to 10. Yeah. That was.
And then one of the worst left backs I've ever seen scores his second goal in 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Yeah, Andres de Sena. Yeah, after scoring against Madrid during the 4 days previous, I think.
Yeah.
What a win that was, and the Torres. Isn't that the start of the
Torres and Vidic?
Yeah, that's the start of the whole.
Vidic got sent off 3 consecutive games.
Yeah. It was,
and it was all Torres. He just couldn't play him. Don't let the ball bounce, lads. Don't let the ball bounce.
Yeah,
too late.
As good a defender as he is, he keeps letting the fucking thing bounce.
He was just in his head all the time. He just didn't know what to do. He did at Anfield as well in the next game.
Yeah, unbelievable. Let me see. Chris Brack says the Torquoit hat-trick is a big one for him. Or the 2-0
the 2-metre hat-trick.
Yeah, or the 2-0 win at Anfield when Ngog scores at the end. Yeah, do you know what? That's a great win. The one thing I do remember about it is that Carragher makes a tackle, and about 8 seconds later he makes another big one. In quick succession. It might be from Rooney. Or Ronaldo, and he just up and throws in another massive tackle then, and we managed to break free and score. They were good. The Old Trafford one. I love the one where we beat them with Danny Murphy's little lob over Barthez. I have to say, I love that one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful goal.
Yeah, I love that because one, they're booing Gerrard when he gets it and he puts it on a play for Murphy, and Keane's reaction as it goes in. Keane is like, for fuck's sake. Yeah. That really, really, really good. The 3-0 at Old Trafford, 13-14.
Yeah, I was like that. Yeah,
they
got away with 3.
Yeah, they did get away with 3. They should have had a man sent off as well.
That was when Joe Allen beat Fellaini for a header, and I thought everything is possible. Up is down, black is white. How was he beating Fellaini at a header?
Yeah, that was a good one. That's probably that. And Stephen Kingsbury says there, the 3-0 at Old Trafford in 13-14, we were dominant. That is the one where I think we dominate United from.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm having my mind coming this Sunday. I really, really do a dominant display. I'll throw another one at you, Karl. Coutinho's equaliser at Old Trafford in the Europa League.
That was
we
nice.
Had that one?
No, I couldn't go midweek. That was another sort of silent moment for a bit. I thought he's got that in.
Yeah.
how's he done that?
Yeah.
And then it goes nuts, obviously.
Yeah. Just there's one that sticks in the crowd as well. It has to be the '96 Cup final. I thought both teams were awful.
One of the worst games of football I've ever seen, and that was at Liverpool to Brecon.
Yeah,
which I still say is the worst game of football I've ever seen in my life.
Well, yeah, I just think this cup final was one where complete cancelling out of each other, a complete fear of each other, and it just happened to fall to Cantona, the romanticism of the cup and all this shite that they came out with after, but that was a tough one to take, Carl. I just really thought no one deserved to win it, but I don't think anyone deserved to lose it either. I mean,
no, they should have just shared the cup. It felt that bad at the time. Do you know what? We're both terrible. Let's just shake hands and get off the pitch and go home. This is so bad. And obviously, I bet on a Liverpool 3-0 win with Rob Jones' first goal. I mean, talk about romance of the cup there.
Yeah. But that's lottery stuff.
I missed that pound.
Yeah,
I really do.
I have a feeling that if you'd have won that, you wouldn't be sitting here talking to me today.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Can you get Skype in Acapulco? You'd have to find out.
Yeah, and the time difference can be a nightmare. Ray Dickinson says Reese's rocket against Barthez. Yeah, that was a great game.
That was a great game.
That was quality.
That was fantastic. And so was the I don't know if anyone's mentioned the treble winning season where Gerrard scores that rocket
belter,
as well, and Farley gets the other. But the funny thing about that Gerrard goal, if you watch it again, there's a man behind the goal who does that thing that people were doing then, of putting their arms far apart to show how far over it's gone.
Oh yeah.
He starts doing that, and then he just sits down really quietly. Once you realise it's absolutely crushed in off the bar.
Yeah, no, that was.
I love looking at that lad in that.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, that game. That was a really good one. Stephen Kingsbury says Michael Owen dinking the ball over Schmeichel in 97-98 for 1-1. That's where Pallister just forgets how to run, and then Owen absolutely destroys them. Does he get sent off later in that game?
He got sent off for a 2-footer against Ronnie Johnson, I think it was.
Was it Johnson?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was Schmeichel coming out of his goal and he done Schmeichel.
Oh, it might have been, yeah. I know
it
was a red, though. I remember thinking, can't really complain about that, but I'll take the points.
Yeah. There was some sickeners as well. If you look at the 98-99 FA Cup or 1-0 up in injury time at Old Trafford.
That was just...
fourth round of the FA Cup, I think.
Well, I've got loads of mates who aren't from Liverpool, and they've said to me, like, we don't feel we're really, really into Liverpool as much as you are, and there's a bit of an imposter syndrome thing going on. And I always say, how did you feel at the end of that 2-1 game? And they all say, that was the worst day of my life by an absolute mile, because we go up so early. Hegem's brilliant in that game. He's really underrated in that game, and then it goes to 1-1, and you just know if it goes to 1-1, they've won. That's how weak we were mentally around that time. Yeah, and it's worse when you know a certain thing is coming. Then you watch it and just think it's almost like there's nothing we could do. They were going to score that second goal because that just took everything out of us. And I think that really did something to that squad as well.
Yeah, I agree.
They all learned something from that. And sort of, we're not doing this again. And then, the next time we play them in the league, we beat them there.
Yeah. Chris Brack says, remember the under Kenny second spell, beating them at Anfield in the FA Cup when we played a mad side with Carragher playing defensive midfield.
What a game. What a finish that was.
Yeah, that was...
absolutely nuts at that game.
That's the one...
That's the Alan Smith game.
That's the Alan Smith game. Who gets the winner? Cout, yeah. Because every time I think of around that period, and I don't know why, I always just have Torres putting Ferdinand on his arse and smashing it past Van der Sar. And that just everything morphs for me into that, because I just thought, do you know what it was? It was the pass from Ben Ayoun that every time I watch it, I go, how has he managed that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Stephen again says 98-99. I don't think you like this one, Carl. Paul Ince sliding in at the equaliser at the Cop end. Amazing.
Oh, I quite liked it at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was quite up for that at the time. They won the double anyway, obviously, but that was a wonderful moment where we thought, I think we've done them again. Yeah. And we didn't, because Arsenal bolted it up for them.
I like the one in, I think was it FA Cup again? Crouch's header off the post at Anfield.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that one.
Hang on, that might have been the Smith game. That was the Smith game, yeah.
Yeah, I know Coit wins one late on.
Yeah, that was 2012. No, hang on, we lost in 2012 to them. That was about 2010, I want to say. But, the Crouch game, that was the Alan Smith game.
Yeah, I remember the Crouch header off the post. And
we definitely deserved to win that. We were really good in that game.
Do you know what?
We really came out for them.
Another one I really enjoyed was actually 08-09, when we 1-0 down early through Tevez, I think. And we equalised with an own goal.
Ryan Babel's debut.
Yeah, and Ryan Babel scores at the end, doesn't he? He bounces it into the ground. I think it's an own goal that gets us back in. I want to say Wes Brown It's a centre half. Riera.
Because I thought that was Riera. Because I was at the other end of the pitch. I was in the cop for that.
Yeah.
And and Babel actually just misses it completely, and which was a bit like his Liverpool career. He scored loads of goals, but they were mostly off his arse and stuff, which is fine. I've got no problem with that at all. But yeah, he completely threw the keeper, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was Berbatov, Rooney, and Ronaldo, wasn't it, that year?
Yeah, I think Tevez puts them one up.
Yeah,
and then there's an own goal from. I want to say Wes Brown.
It was Wes Brown, definitely. Yeah. It sort of just hit him as a sort of Riera went through, and it's
I think Van der Sar hits it off him, and it bounces off Brown and goes in.
I couldn't tell a great deal about this. Obviously, I've seen it since, but I couldn't tell a great deal at the time, and I thought that was Riera's goal. And I thought, the new lad's all right. He settled in.
Yeah,
first game.
Yeah, no, it was just the own goal, and then I think Mascherano robs Giggs on the end line at the cop end and squares it, and Babel mishits it, and it bounces up over Ferdinand into the goal. That was a good one. I'm trying to think of one. Do you know what one really upset me though? 14-15 at Old Trafford. They beat us 3-0. Brad Jones is diving the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we missed about 5 brilliant chances you don't usually get at Old Trafford. We missed about 5 of them, and that one annoyed me. That really did. But it just shows there's so many memories in the game, and it. You know what? If I asked you about the big Liverpool Chelsea games, and I went back 25 years, you'd struggle a little bit. But this fixture, everything kind of sticks with you, doesn't it? Stephen again says Patrick Berger's free kick in 99-2000 at Old Trafford to put us 1-up. Let me see.
Solskjaer's got the equaliser.
Yeah, North Red says, I was at the game, Babel scores he was right beside the Manx. He said it was fucking brilliant. Yeah. But if anyone has anything random for me at Karl in the last 4 or 5 minutes, absolutely throw them in there. Somebody did ask, are you going to have a sandwich or a takeaway after this? I'm going to have a cup of tea and a cigarette. That's genuinely what I'm going to do. I don't know what Karl's plans are for the evening. Tea. There you go. Yeah. He's going to have tea as well. But I suppose I want to ask you about Sunday, because I probably won't speak to you between now and then. We've done 2 shows, and a lot of lads seem to be fairly confident, but want us to go with the right attitude into this game. How do I put this? Is there any doubt in your mind that Liverpool go in here and play anywhere near the potential and they win the game? Is there any doubt in your mind where that doesn't happen?
Yeah.
Is there?
Because it's Man United.
Do you feel that if we go in there...
They are sponsored by the devil. I've got no question in that at all.
Right.
That badge is no coincidence. Things go their way. They're not going their way at the moment. That makes me even more nervous because they're due luck. But I'd say that's about 10% of my mind at the moment. If we play to the best of our ability, if they play to the best of their ability, Liverpool win.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's all I want.
Yeah, that's what I want too. The De Gea news. If anybody has an update on De Gea, absolutely throw it in there. A lot of people at the start of the podcast.
Sounds like he's done 2 hamstrings.
It looks like he, from what I could read on the comments earlier, he takes a goal kick and something goes wrong, and then he goes
like
back.
Alisson.
Yes,
like Alisson at Norwich.
Yes, but then then another one comes up and he tries another one. And then goes down after it. And somebody did say there it could be a couple of months. It looks like it's the same injury that Alisson got. So we have to wait and see. Who goes and go for them? Romero's still hanging around?
Romero, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. That's written in the stars, isn't it? He's going to have the game of his life.
This is my point. They love a romantic story.
Yeah, no, it is. And listen, I said it the other day. If United beat Liverpool, Gary Neville would be proposing to Martin Tyler in the commentary box. You know,
and he will accept.
And he absolutely will accept. Only if the reception is in the Stretford end.
Yeah.
But what team are you going with, Karl? Because Stephen Kingsbury asked there, Gav, what lineup would you go with? Midfield wise, I'm going Firmino, Wijnaldum, Henderson. I just am. But Stephen Mack says, yes, out for 3 months like Big Alisson. Stephen, I never know whether to take you serious or not, so you're going to need to write that and write seriously at the end of it. But Karl, what's your lineup for the weekend?
It's the same as yours.
Okay.
Yeah, the podcast I've just done, they were talking about getting Naby in. No way. You play Wijnaldum, Henderson, and Fabinho.
Okay, I'd agree with you. Back 4 is nailed. Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson.
Yeah.
Alisson back in goal. That update was timed lovely today. Of him back in training, so that tells us he's back. And the front 3 is normal, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not messing around with that, are you?
No, no, absolutely not.
No,
Centurion says
it's not a time to try young Ben Woodburn up front. No,
no.
we're not doing any of that. No.
Although Ben Woodburn. I find it difficult to say his name because the lads at the Day Trippers have so many names for Ben Woodburn. It's unreal. But he's spoken today about still wanting to fulfill his dream of playing for Liverpool.
It's his birthday.
Yeah,
that's got a little birthday interview off the telly.
There you go.
Nice, don't think I did when I was 20.
Centurion says if one player steps up from our front three, we win.
I agree with that.
Adam asks, did Hendo play too much on international duty? It's a decent question because Stephen says
he had the excellent Ross Barkley doing his running for him.
Yes,
he said through gritted teeth.
Yeah, Chris Brack says it's the Champions League final 11 for him. Stephen backs the Henderson stuff up with saying he's in poor form. Milner and Naby Keita maybe. I think if he does change something in midfield, I think Milner will be the man that goes in there.
I think Milner finishes the game, but I don't think he starts it.
Yeah, I think he's a perfect force sub regardless of what state the game is in. That's just the way I look at Milner at the minute. And he can start games by all means, but I just think he's a perfect sub. Let me see. Somebody asked there, what is your Indian takeaway game?
Do you know, I'm veggie, so not particularly spicy. I do like a biryani.
Okay.
I've always liked a biryani.
Yep.
Always, but I do like my bhajis as well. I do like a cauliflower bhaji.
Do you know what? I've never had an Indian takeaway.
Never.
There's one for you.
Is that possible?
Oh, well, it is. I've just told you.
It
genuinely is. I have a weird list of things that I've never done or seen.
How do you avoid it?
Well, I've never seen a Harry Potter film. I've never seen a Lord of the Rings film. I've never seen a James Bond film. And I've never seen any of the Rocky films. All right? Wow. And I've never had an Indian takeaway. So there you go. It's one of those.
That takes some doing.
I've had Thai food once. Yeah, it's just one of those. Let me see. Stephen comes back in caps as always and says, Gav, De Gea did his hamstring. He's out for at least 6 to 8 weeks.
Not buying it.
Okay, neither am I. I fully expect him to turn up and play midfield if Pogba fails a fitness test.
He's driving to the ground now with his shin pads on.
He's just going to sit and wait. 5-day wait.
He's just going to kick goalposts. That's what he's going to do.
Yeah. Naby, let me see. Centurion says Naby Keita not sensible at Old Trafford. Chris Brack says a really late brace would be nice. Stevens found that very, very funny as to what I've not seen. Chris Brack says never had an Indian get a grip. No, seriously. Seriously. Ray Dickinson says, Gav, you live such a sheltered life. Ray, you know me and you know I don't live in any way under any shelter. And you know that because you've experienced me being outside the shelter for a long time and you've been with me while it's happened. So, there's no random stuff in there. I can't see anything random. I'm trying to remember the random stuff that went on earlier on. Karl, I have to ask you for a prediction.
2-0 Liverpool.
2-0 clean sheet.
Yeah.
And when you say 2-0, because somebody on our podcast the other night said he sees a 2-0, but it'll be one where it'll flatter United.
I always say about this, one early, one late. I'd like an early goal. I'm going, so I want to sort of have some vague enjoyment of the game because even when I'm there and we win there, I'm still sort of quite nervous hours later. And it's sort of, I think they're going to take it off us, aren't they? They'll find a way. So I think 2-0, and I think the reason I say 2-0 is because I don't think Rashford is a number 9. They shouldn't have sold Lukaku, and Fred and McTominay don't scare me. Famous last words.
Very fair point. Chris Brack says, worst football team gift you have ever received for birthday or Christmas.
Wow.
It's a good one, that.
I don't know, to be honest. I can't really say in case my mum's listening.
She won't be listening, trust me.
She won't be listening.
No.
They did get me a Liverpool shirt with my name on the back once, and I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm. You were against that, was it?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
The worst one I got.
That's the worst one ever because it was a Liverpool shirt. I got to wear it in the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I think I've done all right.
I remember somebody buying me the Torres book about a week before he left.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a Christmas present, but it was somebody I hadn't seen.
He left in January.
One of those where it's somebody but you didn't see them over Christmas, so you organise to see them in January, and You open this, it's Torres' book, and a week later he's gone. So that one wasn't good.
That's not great.
No, not good at all. Not good at all. So you're going with a 2-0. I think Karl, for you, I'd like to see you go to Old Trafford on Sunday. I'd like to see us score in about 11 minutes. And then I'd love to see us just play our way through the first half and then get one on about 58, 59. And then Old Trafford starts a 30-minute exit, the empty out Old Trafford over the next 30 minutes. That's what I'd like to see happen. Just for you, Karl. The rest
I'd like us not to be locked in because there's no point. That would be quite nice.
Stephen Mack got Poundland LFC socks for Christmas. That's amazing. Somebody went to Poundland and bought him socks with LFC written on them. Chris Brack says 3-0, all given by tight VAR decisions, so them and City can moan that we were lucky.
Yeah.
Would you take that?
That'd be nice, yeah.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Byron wants a Milner and a hat-trick of pens. He wants all the fume, as much as he can possibly get. Centurion says he got a CR7 replica shirt in blue away from Man United. He had to give it to a Man United fan. Was that like a Secret Santa thing?
That sounds to me like one of those. Oh, he likes football, so therefore he must like Ronaldo.
Yeah. It's just logic, isn't it? Ray Dickinson says leaving present from work. Got a short and he spelt his name wrong on the back of it. He worked with them for 8 years. That's amazing.
Oh, that's tremendous. Well done.
Oh, Ray, if you still have it, because Ray does podcasts with us. Ray, if you still have that, bring it to us, and I'll put it up in the studio. I'll put it up in the studio, and it'll be just like, and we'll make the changes to make it right on the short, and put it right in view of all the cameras. Stephen Kingsley says 3-1 to Liverpool. Chris Brack says I got my brother a limited edition Torres short in a box with the signature embroidered for his 21st. He left 18 days later. That's savage. Oh, that's savage. Centurion says he got a Juventus wallet. He just removed the stitched on emblem. I just used that as a normal wallet. Stephen Mack says 3-0 first half, second half 1-1 equals 4-1. Very good. Stephen, it will happen for you one of these days, a 4-1 Liverpool. 4-2 I thought was your score of choice though. Let me see. I'm just going to call this guy Meg25 because it's a little bit strange at the start. 2-1 Liverpool, controversial Salah penalty in the 80th minute. Oh, that gives them 10 minutes of getting really upset.
Yeah, that's too early. Don't go early.
Yeah, but if it gives them 10 minutes to get really upset.
Yeah.
You'll take 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the Leicester game. I just like the whistle to go the second they kick off again afterwards.
Centurion,
I like them.
Centurion says it was the he likes football gift. Exactly. That just like Karl said. Do you know what? I get that with golf. I play a lot of golf. It's apart from football, it's a sport I watch and play, and I get all that at Christmas. Like it's this box with like a mug and a little towel in it, and 2 golf balls and 2 little teas, and I will never use them. I get all that stuff all the time, and you get it with golf. It's not only football, any sport you're into, you will always get it. Let me see. Stephen says we're too good to let in 2 against these lot.
I thought that actually, the 4-2 thing. Yeah, I don't know where their second goal comes from, because I think they'd be going nuts for their first, and they would probably declare at that point.
Yeah, Northred says Alisson's back, clean sheet. I think that's us. I think we've done enough random stuff. I think we've spoken about United and good and bad over the years. We covered it quite well, I think, Karl.
We've reclaimed history.
Oh, well, I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
And once me and you are proud of each other, I think that's all that matters.
I'm fine.
Let me see. Meg25's got a John Barnes wobblehead toy.
Oh, I remember them, yeah.
Yeah. Northred says 3-0 Mane. 3-0 Mane 2, Salah 1. Ray Dickinson would love to be 4 up and see the camera go on Fergie.
Nice.
Stephen,
and Mick Hucknall. That's what Mick Hucknall in there as well.
Mick Hucknall. Yeah. Jesus, he's terrible looking, isn't he?
And Eamon Holmes.
Oh, yeah. Eamon Holmes, yeah. Yeah. Anybody else that might turn up there?
Oh, God, all of them. All the celebrity Man United fans.
Yeah.
Zoe Ball. There's Zoe Ball. You can have a whack her in as well.
No, listen, I'll settle for the mad looking yoke out of Simply Red. I'll settle for him. Okay, hold on. One more. Last one. Craziest thing you have done celebrating a Man United defeat Is that in Liverpool beating them or them just getting beaten in general?
I did a few laps of the pub I was in when Aguero got the winner for them against City. Sorry, City against QPR.
Oh, yeah.
Did a few laps of the pub for that. Quite a few, I think. I mean, they got knocked out by Monaco when I was in the sports bar in Piccadilly, and Darren Anderson was in there. And my mate said, "You got to be happy with that." This is like really young Darren. They think he just got to Tottenham. And my mate said to him, "You got to be happy with that, Darren." And Darren Anderson's mate absolutely tore a strip off my mate, saying, "How can you say that about an English club?" And then obviously loads of people just jumped on him and said, "It's not about England, mate. It's about hating Man United."
Yeah, absolutely. And Darren Anderson's mate sounds like an arsehole. What was I going to say? You see, I have this thing where I don't watch Liverpool and United in a pub.
I don't anymore. Well, I'm there if I can, but I couldn't around that time.
Yeah, like, to be honest with you, if I'm watching it, I'd much rather watch it at home than I would in the pub. I'm being honest with you. I do remember beating them in was the League Cup final 2003.
Yeah,
Owen gets the late goal that seals it.
Breakaway.
I do remember going absolutely mad in a pub for that, to the point where a United fan followed me to the pub for telling Alex and wanting to have a go off me because I told Alex Ferguson to fuck off. Alex Ferguson couldn't hear me. He was in Cardiff. Yeah. I remember that.
I imagine also he was taking your thoughts as read.
Oh, yeah.
Time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm sure Ferguson was standing there going, "We've been beaten, but Gav in Dublin, that's hurt even more." Last one, I promise. Which LFC player wins in a WW style last man standing match?
James Milner.
James Milner.
Yeah, because he's just pure muscle.
Van Dijk doesn't get a show for that.
No, because he's from Yorkshire.
Okay. Yeah, James Milner's not a bad show. I'm going to go for Fabinho. I think he's a sneaky little fucker when he wants to be, and I like that.
And he looks older than he is.
Yeah,
I like that about Fabinho.
Yeah, he has. He does look beyond his years, doesn't he? There's something about him. I go for Fabinho and Milner in a final, and we'll see how we get on. Right, we're out of here. That's it. FB4 Daily done for today, Tuesday. I will be back tomorrow. Chris Brack will join me tomorrow. I'm trying to find. Do you know what? Carl will be brilliant actually for this. I should have thought of this, but Chris Brack will be back tomorrow. He's the king of the LFC quiz, and I'm trying to find him an opponent for tomorrow night at 10 p.m. 10 questions each, and we'll see who gets the better of each other. But we will be back then. Carl, thanks a million for joining me.
No problem at all.
Great stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. That's been it. That's us. Talk to us tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Have a good one. Over and out.